Hi, welcome back to Science 1206, the Chemical Reactions Unit. I'm Ms. Ledwell, and in this video, we'll continue our discussion on lab safety. Let's begin. When conducting experiments in the lab, it is important to be careful. Being alert and following safety rules and procedures is essential. Knowing the safety rules before beginning an experiment can help to ensure everyone's safety. Safety procedures help you to anticipate and recognize dangers. These common sense rules are based on knowledge of laboratory practices and procedures. Let's take a look at some general safety rules. First, always work under supervision and follow instructions carefully. Read over the procedures before you start an activity. Always use protective equipment, such as a lab coat and protective eyewear. Make sure you know how to use laboratory equipment before you start an activity. Do not wear loose clothing or open-toed shoes. Do not eat, drink, or chew gum in the lab. Never run or play around. Students should know the location of emergency exits and how to use emergency equipment, such as fire extinguishers. In case of emergency, notify the adult supervising the activity and follow safety precautions. After the experiment, clean up the area. Always wash your hands with soap and water. Now for some glassware rules. Never use cracked or chipped glassware in the lab. If glass breaks, dispose of it carefully in an appropriate container. There should be a glass disposal box or glass disposal container in your lab. Always use clean glassware and wash it again after the activity. Do not put hot glassware in cold water. It can break. Some rules about chemicals. Know the safety precautions and hazards for all chemicals you are using before you start an activity. If you come in contact with a solid substance, brush it off immediately. If it is liquid, wash the area thoroughly with water. If it gets in your eyes, rinse them immediately in the eye wash station and continuously for 15 minutes. Report the incident to your supervisor. Hold containers away from your face when pouring liquids, and don't point them at anyone else either. Read labels on containers. If you are not able to read the label on a container, do not use the chemicals in that container. Never put anything in your mouth while in the lab. This includes fingers, equipment, pencils, food, drinks, or the chemicals that you're working with. Never return a chemical that was used in an activity to its original container. It may be contaminated and then you'll contaminate all the rest of the chemical. Never pour chemicals down the sink or in the garbage without permission. If you're asked to smell a substance, hold the container at arm's length and waft the fumes towards you. Do not hold the container close to your nose. If you're asked to dilute a concentration, put the water in a container first and then add the chemical. Clean up any spills by following the instructions from your supervisor. Now for hot objects and open flame rules. Make sure you handle hot objects carefully. Never leave an open flame or hot equipment like a hot plate unattended. Follow the instructions for using hot equipment like a hot plate or stove. Tie back long hair and avoid long loose sleeves when you are using open flames. On to electrical equipment rules. Make sure your hands are dry when touching electrical cords, plugs, and outlets. Always pull the plug, not the cord, when unplugging equipment. Do not use equipment if it is damaged or if the cord is frayed. Now it's time to review. Complete the learning activities on lab safety in Brightspace.